The EFS 07, or Special Education Tuition and Board Report, and the EFS 214, also known as the High Cost Out of District Report, both provide information that help to alleviate the financial burden school districts face when they send students with special needs who they are responsible for to schools outside of their district. The EFS 07 reports the actual tuition and board costs for each student who must travel outside of their school district and is used to estimate what district allocations will be in 2 years. The EFS 214 reports the estimated current year costs for only students whose tuition and board costs exceed a specific threshold. To understand how these reports work, let's use a hypothetical example. Appleton is a small rural school district located in the town of Appleton near the coast of Maine. The Appleton School District has their own school for students in kindergarten through 8th grade and is part of a larger school district for high school students. Though their school is able to offer great programming for their students, it is unable to provide an appropriate education for a few of their special education students. One such student is Johnny, a 5th grader with autism who lives with his family in Appleton. 2 years ago, Johnny's family and teachers decided that his educational goals would be better met in a school outside of the Appleton School District. Because Johnny is a resident of Appleton, and therefore an educational responsibility of Appleton School District, after the school year was over, Appleton reported the tuition and board expenses on the EFS 07, so that those expenses could be counted towards their special education allocation the following year. Additionally, since Johnny's costs for out-of-district placement exceeded the High Cost Out of District HCOOD threshold, the cost amount above the threshold was reported on the EFS 214 and used for the district's High Cost Out of District allocation in Maine's school funding formula for the following year. Last summer, Sarah's family moved into the district. Sarah's teacher and family also realized that the school in Appleton did not have the needed educational resources to meet her needs. Both Johnny and Sarah attend schools where their tuition and board costs for out-of-district placement exceed the HCOOD threshold. Now both of their amounts above the HCOOD threshold will be included on Appleton's current EFS 214. The combined costs above the threshold from Johnny and Sarah is then compared to high cost out of district allocation from Johnny's cost 2 years ago, and an adjustment will be made if there has been an increase in the cost for out of district placement. A third student at Appleton, Jimmy, also has special needs that are better met in another district. Since the tuition required to send him to a neighboring district does not exceed the thresholds of the EFS 214, his expenses are only listed on the EFS 07 the following year. Let's talk about Johnny's educational needs for a moment. In order for Johnny to access his education goals, he needs a couple extra resources, speech therapy and physical therapy, in order to get the help that he needs. These additional services are just a few out of many related services that are not considered tuition. These include occupational therapy, physical therapy, vision services, audiology services, social work, one-on-one instructional aid, behavioral services. All of these related services should not be listed in either report because they are not tuition. Tuition is simply the money required to send a student to another school, not the additional fees that may surround it or be added to it. School districts must fill out both these reports. The EFS 07 is submitted in the fall, and the EFS 214 is submitted in the spring. When school districts do not have students that qualify for either report, they need to record no students in the report. This is a very simple process, but it does need to be done. In order to fill out the EFS 214 report in the spring, school districts must calculate how much tuition they have already paid and project the cost for the remainder of the school year. Once these reports are filed, they both work to relieve the financial burdens of the Appleton School District, but in separate ways. The EFS 07 is data used in the calculation of the overall special education allocation and for the high cost out of district allocation within the essential programs and services formula. In short, the EFS 07 is used as one of many forms of data to determine the subsidy the state allocates a school district, and the EFS 214 data serves to calculate targeted funding. The EFS 214 is only used to adjust the high cost out of district allocation in the EPS formula. Thanks to these reports, the school district in Appleton will receive some state aid to send these students to schools outside of the district, and in some cases, out of state.